Welcome. In this video, we'll be covering a new tool for managing unfillable holds in Evergreen. It's called Hopeless Holds. What is a hopeless hold? When a hold request is placed, Evergreen goes through different processes to make sure the hold can be filled. One of those processes creates a list of all items that could potentially fill the hold. As long as there's at least one item, the hold request goes forward and becomes active. If there aren't any copies that could potentially fill the hold, the request will fail from the very beginning. A hopeless hold occurs when there's an active hold request, but all of the copies that could potentially fill the hold have either converted to a non-holdable state or are in an item status that has been defined as hopeless prone. Statuses like lost or damaged are generally not holdable, so if items are marked lost or damaged, they're no longer eligible to fill holds. Items may become ineligible because of changes in item status, shelving location configuration, individual item attribute, or hold policies. The term hopeless prone refers to a flag in the configuration of item statuses in Evergreen server administration. The flag indicates that items in the status are unlikely to ever be able to fill a hold, even if hold requests are allowed. Item status configuration, including whether the status is hopeless prone, is managed by Spark. These are the statuses that Spark has identified as hopeless prone. For any given active hold request, if all of the items that could potentially fill the hold are in one of these hopeless prone statuses or become non-holdable, they'll be defined as hopeless holds and will appear in the Hopeless Holds tool. That's a brief explanation of what hopeless holds are. Let's move on and talk about the Hopeless Holds interface. To access Hopeless Holds, go to Administration, and Local Administration, and Hopeless Holds. This interface lists hold requests Evergreen has determined to be unfillable. The list displays several pieces of information by default. You've likely encountered most of them elsewhere in Evergreen when working with holds, but there are a few that could use some additional explanation. The Holdable Formats column is used only for meta-record holds. Meta-record holds allow multiple formats of the same title to be used to fill an individual hold request. The requester can select which formats are acceptable when placing the hold. This column displays the selected formats. The hold type column will display an M to show it was a meta-record hold. The hopeless date column displays the date Evergreen determined the hold to be unfillable. The part label column includes information only when the hold was placed on a specific part of a multi-part set. The hold type column will display a P to indicate that it was a part hold. Additional columns can be displayed as well using the column picker. In addition to a display of hopeless holds, the interface provides an actions menu for managing the holds. How you use the available hold actions will depend on how your library chooses to handle hopeless holds. For example, if the title is an older one with no other copies available, you may choose to purchase a new one and then retarget holds to find the new copy when it arrives and is cataloged. You may, however, not be able to purchase a new copy, so instead you may contact the patron to ask about doing an interlibrary loan. Here's another scenario. Let's say that the hold is on a particular format, such as an audiobook, but the hold becomes hopeless because there's no audiobook copies available anymore. You may contact the patron to ask if a different format is acceptable and then transfer the hold to a different bibliographic record in an acceptable format. Let's deal with a couple of these hopeless holds so that you can see how it works. I'm starting with the hold on the Little Dictionary of Fashion. Let's pretend that I've investigated the hold and found that there are no other copies of this title anywhere in Spark. I've talked with my supervisor, and purchasing a new copy isn't an option. I want to contact the patron to find out if they would be open to an interlibrary loan request. If they are, I'll cancel this hold and create an ILL request as I normally would outside of Evergreen. The first thing I'm going to do is select the hold by clicking the checkbox at the beginning of the row. This activates the Actions menu. Use the Actions menu to choose Retrieve Patron. This opens the patron record in a new tab where I can find her contact information. I may not have an answer right away, so I'm going to close this tab and go back to the home screen. Later, I find out that the interlibrary loan is okay, So I'm going back to the Hopeless Holds interface. Go to Admin, Local Admin, and Hopeless Holds. Select the hold request from the list. Open the Actions menu and choose Cancel Hold. Select a reason for canceling the hold from the Cancel Reason drop-down, and then enter a note about the cancellation if you wish. Click Cancel Hold to complete the process. For the next example, we're going to transfer the hold to a different bibliographic record with a different format. This time I'm using Murder on the Orient Express. The hold was placed on a large print copy. I've contacted the patron and she told me that an audiobook or regular print book would be okay. The first thing I need to do now is find a bibliographic record to transfer my hold to. To do that, I'm going to the Search menu and then search the catalog. Let's do a title search for Murder on the Orient Express. Looking at the search results, I can see that there are several different formats available. There's a CD audiobook. Click on the title on that results page to open the detailed record. Now click the Mark For button and choose Title Hold Transfer. This tells Evergreen that this record will be the destination for my hold transfer. Now I'll go to Administration, Local Administration, and Hopeless Holds. I find the hold request for Murder on the Orient Express and select it, and use the Actions menu to choose Transfer to Mark Title. Click Transfer to complete the transfer of the hold request to the new record and format. Those were just a couple of examples of how you might use the Hopeless Holds interface. There are other options too. Let's say the Hopeless Hold is a copy level hold. You could cancel it and place a new title level or meta record hold. If a new copy of the title is purchased and added to holdings, you can use the Actions menu to retarget the hold to look for the new copy. If you plan to purchase a new copy and your library uses the Acquisitions module, you can use the Actions menu to add the title to a selection list or purchase order. It really just depends on how your library chooses to respond to Hopeless Holds. Thank you for watching the video. If you need additional information or have questions, submit a ticket to the Spark support portal or email support@sparkpa.org.